We're live. I believe it's 33.
We're live now.
Yep.
Okay.
We're good to go.
Hey, Warhawks. This is Colonel Wilson again. Happy Friday to everybody. We are here, Freeform Friday. We're having a little bit of debate whether this is episode 33 or 34. Either way, we are here, and we have a very special guest, Chief Butcher, of course, my wingman. Say hello. We just got back from TDY out at Fort Leonard Wood. We'll talk a little bit about that this morning. But we have a special guest here with us. We're over in the 343rd Training Squadron. We are in the facility affectionately known as Jailhouse, the headquarters function and the lodging for the vast majority of our 1,000+ Defender Airmen in training here in the 343rd Schoolhouse. Happy to be here today. Happy to be here with TSgt Brianna Olson, who is a med tech, not an IDMT. She's a 4 November, right? Did I have that right, Sergeant Olson?
Yes.
And she is assigned to the 343rd, but she does her daily activities out at Camp Bullis, which is where most of our defenders get their expeditionary, hands-on, practical types of training when they're out at Camp Bullis. About 300 plus out there, while we have about 800 plus here on the ground. So, Sergeant Olson, welcome to Freeform Friday.
Appreciate you having me.
It's our pleasure. So, tell us a little bit about Camp Bullis. Tell us about that mission. Tell us about what you do out there, and just day in and day out, kind of what life looks like for you.
Yes, sir. So day in, day out, we take care of the 10,000 plus airmen that go through annually for the Security Forces Academy. We work with our cadre and our MTLs and get those students taken care of to where we can keep that washback rate at about 99% from washing them back.
Yeah.
So we try to keep them on the ground and keep them training without having to kick them all the way back to left and retrain them. We also work with our advanced courses out there. So we work with our gunner's course, we work with our SIC and our SOC, which is the intermediate, and our officers, getting them trained up and also keeping them in training and keeping them from having to go back to their bases and return.
So it's safe to say when they go out there, like this is a hands-on game. Like the classroom learning environment has been left at Lackland. They're out there, they're in the field, they're doing some pretty physically demanding things out there to make sure that they're ready for to go to their first operational duty assignment and ready for any type of contingency that might come up. So to your point, you're all about keeping them in training because we don't want to wash them back, and they're going through some real physical, enduring, physically demanding types of activities. What kind of things do they do out there?
So they do a lot of training with weapons and inner and clearing, and with having to learn how to crawl and low crawl and high crawl and running with the weapons and trying to get through buildings and clearing them and apprehending people when they need to, when to fire, when to not fire, and then the weapon systems that they're using out there is a big deal as well. So they begin to use the sim rounds, so they learn that as well.
And you keep them in the fight.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. You take great pride in your mission, it seems.
I do, yes, sir.
Well, thank you for that. Now, I understand family-wise, you've got a little boy.
I do. I have a 7-year-old little boy,
Xander?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Xander. I hope you're proud of your mama. You know we are. So, we talked a little bit last week about the month of the military child. I just came from my son's school, and he's in his 3rd school in 3 years. You guys might be able to kind of reflect on this. And he's having some trouble acclimating at his new school. I love him, and he's just such a quiet, reserved kid, and that just tells you, about the sacrifice that our families make for what we do. So, and we all know that, right? You're out there, you're at Camp Bullis every single day. But if something was wrong with Xander, or if you didn't feel good about taking and leaving Xander to school every day, how would that impact your mission and the types of operations that you're doing out at Camp Bullis?
Definitely. So we have a great team out there. There's 10 of us out there between foreigners and IDMTs, and they work really well with our families and getting us to complete the mission, do what we need to do in a timely manner, but still be able to take care of our family at home and be there for them and everything. Just hence with the school acclimation, as well as my son's transition from online to in person. So that was a big transition for him, as well as with your son. He had a hard time acclimating with timing and teachers telling him.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we were dying in the virtual learning environment, just dying. So he's back, and it sounds like Xander's back in person as well. That's great. Yeah, and to your point, we talk about this quite a bit, but we got 2 families here. We got this family, and we got this family. And so both families are there to help pick us up and make sure we're taken care of. So, to Chief, any thoughts on defenders or military dependents, families?
Not really. No. Well, I guess thank you to the families, right? We can't do what we do without you, right? And so much sacrifice. It doesn't go unnoticed. And to our defenders, man, thank you for what you do. Oh my goodness. I tell you, I really prefer to live on base. Talking about this family here on the left, the U.S. Air Force, it pulls me away, right? It makes me, this family requires me to go serve in different areas and leave this family back at home. My butcher family, we prefer to live on base, really. It's those defenders at the gate.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, you cannot put a price tag on that peace of mind for what we do. And I know that's only one very small facet of the defender career field. I just want to say to all our defenders that are out there, and especially in honor of our security forces team while we're here in their schoolhouse, thank you for what you do. I recognize it's a thankless job, but I'm telling you right here in front of the thousands and thousands of Freeform Friday fans, that thank you to our defenders.
And so it's been become obviously painfully clear that we put our talent at the schoolhouse because it impacts the defenders that we're producing for the rest of their careers. The way they build that foundation, the things that they embed in those defenders as they're coming out of here, whether it's their 8 Tango instructors, whether it's their NTLs, whether it's their 4Ns or IDMTs that are take care of them. It's a total team effort, and we've got the best of the best right here to take care of them and make sure they're going on to the operational Air Force to do great things. So thanks so much, Sergeant Olson. Hey, we got some things to brag about too, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
there's a MEDEVAC exercise that you and the Texas Air National Guard have been participating in.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about that exercise? You guys got some big pub on that, and how you integrate with medical professionals, with the defenders and the Guard, and what that all looks like.
Perfect. So we worked with the Air National Guard with their Kilo team that deploys out almost every year. And we work with them to help them train medically and as well as their logistic wise to get their kilos in the air, get patients on the ground. We took care of the patients and we helped load them into the helicopter with the security forces cadre that came out, helped us perform security as well as take care of those patients. We also worked with the logistics team out there to help load cargo as well as they were loading cargo in between the patients to help the timing and what they needed to do out there. So it really helped our team, and we were acknowledged by the AAFPC headquarters for that in that news article.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. We talk a lot about there's concepts out there like multi-capable airmen. That's what that sounds like to me. With you guys learning how to rig, with you guys learning defenders how to do their TCCC
Yes, sir.
and take care of each other and still be defenders, and you guys probably capable to go into that environment and operate. Like, that's just agility that our Air Force needs us to be able to do. So great work. Yeah, you guys got some amazing press on that, and we're just so grateful for you. And it sounds like we have an opportunity to continue to do that too. Great partnership. And to that end, you guys were recognized recently, I understand, last quarter.
Yes, sir. So we won the IDMT of the Year Team Award across the entire Air Force, which shows the teamwork that not only comes from our IDMTs, but also from our 4Ns that help them get the job done.
Yeah.
With, any less IDMTs that have to drop out or anything like that. We're able to backfill them and help them out there in the mission out in the field.
Which just kind of proves my point. The best of the best come here because of the value that we place in building the foundation and pushing out our airmen and our defenders out through the training pipeline to the operational Air Force. Thanks again. All right, we hope you're gonna stay, and if you see anything else you want to chime in on, we've had a pretty big week in the 37 training week. Chief and I just got back from Fort Leonard Wood, and we're actually out there looking at our airmen that run some of our advanced and supplemental courses out there. Master Treadwell, Captain Hafich, Jared Hafich. Thanks for your support out there, and we were just looking at the special weapons qualification, the SRT courses, which is like the SWAT equivalent, and some different courses. So there's about 13 defenders that are out there, day in and day out. So we just wanted to shout out to those guys to say, hey, thanks for your hospitality. We really enjoyed seeing you. Chief, what was your impressions of the visit?
It was great. I think Fort Leonard Wood is a beautiful post, and I'm really proud of what our team's doing out there. So you definitely sparked a little bit of a thought pattern for me. You talk about multi-people airmen around in the defender community. That's something that we got to talk a little bit with Chief McCoy recently, and a little bit with Sergeant Treadwell. Some of the team were out there. Chief Caldwell also out there at Fort Leonard Wood this week. Man, the defenders, have been doing this concept of multi-capable airmen ever since 1997.
Yeah.
Right, 1997, when they took, the old security enterprise and then the law enforcement and merged it together, right? And then they still had all these multi-capable. There's a lot within those different facets of the communities. So I don't know, just a little bit in honor of security forces today, but something I walked away from that visit with a greater appreciation, and even right now our current. We're driving our force.
Agile combat.
Agile, thank you.
Yeah, great power competition, trying to be agile and ready to go, but to take on our peer competitors anytime, anywhere.
Right here, the grassroots of it, right here, and TSgt Olson and the team, and I'm sorry, cadre here, the best of the best of this people's community.
Awesome. So Sergeant Olson, I would guess at some point you went to basic military training.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, which squadron? Any shout outs to the squadron? It's been a while. Eagles 322nd Training Squad.
322nd.
All right, shout out to the 322nd. Well, we had our BMT graduation yesterday. We had some pretty big attendees there. We had General Stangenfeld, who's the Deputy Commander of Air Education Training Command, who was our guest speaker. But we also had a late addition, was the, somebody, not a big deal or anything, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Bass, just sort of showing up, and she made some comments out there to our graduates as well. Pretty good, a lot going on in our installation, pretty awesome. It tells you on your average Thursday, you've got the 2-star ATC Deputy Commander and then the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force all hanging out and participating in our BMT grad.
A little more than that. I mean, shout out to Chief Perry and Chief Bass, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Bass, because while they were here, they took the time to talk to our first sergeant council here, first in the training wing. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, sir. And I know our first sergeant's really doing some good stuff.
Chief Perry is our the CFM, curriculum manager for our first sergeants across the Air Force. Again, pretty big deal. Awesome. And then we had Chaplain Shake, Major General Shake, who is the Air Force Chief of Chaplains, who was here visiting yesterday. Colonel Schaefer and Chief Lewis met with him and talked with him a little bit. They went out to our refuge and they visited the refuge. They talked about future concept for a new chapel here on Lackland, which is still in the future a little ways, but it's called the Chaplain of the American Airmen, I think. I probably screwed that up, but it's a new chaplain that will be coming here in the next 4, 5, 6 years. They talked about that concept, and they talked about some of the great things we've got going with our True North. We're going to be gaining some additional chaplains and religious support teams here in the 37th Training Wing. They talked a little bit about that. It sounded like a great visit. But again, Air Force Chief of Chaplains. And then, oh, by the way, he announced his retirement yesterday, so we got him on the same day to say congratulations on a great career to General Shake. So anyway, so that's kind of some of the things that are going on. We've got a few other things. Wanted to say congratulations. We had some civilian airmen that achieved 40 years of service. 40 years. That's amazing. That's an institution. That's not just service. That's an institution serving our country for 40 years. And we had Miss Anita Condor from IAAFA. Congratulations, Miss Condor. Miss Claudia James from the 37th Training Support Squadron over in our 37th Training Group. Miss Elise Vela from BLI ELC. And Mr. Roberto Frias from BLI ELC. Congratulations to y'all. We also have some movement that's kind of going on in our wing that's probably worth talking about in terms of leadership changes. Colonel Bear Newsom has recently announced his retirement. He's a commander of basic military training. I think we mentioned that on the last Freeform, as a matter of fact. So his retirement ceremony is on the 23rd of April. It will be officiated by Lieutenant General Webb, the commander of Air Education Training Command. Pretty awesome. Then Colonel Megan Schaefer, who's our vice wing commander, will go over and she will fill in for about 2 months as the basic military training commander. She'll do that. That'll start on the 17th of April. And then while she vacates the vice wing commander's position for about 2 months, we're going to have Colonel Jose Jimenez, who will come over from IAAFA as the commandant of IAAFA and will fill in for about 2 months as the vice commander. So got a lot of moving parts. This summer, we'll have a new permanent vice wing commander, Colonel Trey Ira, and is coming in from Air War College. And then we'll also have a new commander of basic military training, Colonel Jeff Pixley, who's coming in from Alaska, and I'm trying to draw Northcom. Could come up with it. Anyway, so we'll have a nice transition there. So a lot of leadership moves Chief Morgan, our new command chief, gets here on the 19th of April. We'll start his immersions in earnest. Looking forward to that. So a lot of moving parts, but you know what? That's pretty traditional, pretty typical for many Air Force units over the summer. I mean, not that it's summer, so we got a lot of moves.
My boss is changing up his son too, it can be a lot.
That's right. Colonel Koji Gillis will be headed to U.S. Forces Korea, and Colonel Joe Schaefer, who will be coming in. Their change of command, it looks like, will be on the 1st of July. So a lot of movement afoot there. We also had some announcements in terms of awards. We had the Air Education Training Command First Sergeant of the Year category. Senior NCO, thanks. Sergeant Lionel Garcia from the 737 Training Support Squadron. Sergeant Garcia has PCS on now, but still great pride in that and being able to recognize Sergeant Garcia for his efforts while he was here as part of the basic military training and 37 training. So congratulations to him. I think that's it. IAAFA, we just wanted to throw a shout out to IAAFA, who hosted the Chaplain's Pancake Breakfast. Again, we mentioned Chaplain Shake. Our chaplain partners over in the 502nd Air Base Wing are just such great partners. Whether it comes to the resilience of our airmen, or that spiritual pillar and the counseling services that they provide. Just like Sergeant Olson keeps airmen in fight, they keep airmen in fight, and they keep airmen in training. And that's ultimately our goal, is to keep our airmen training. So thanks to IAAFA, thanks to them for putting on the Pancake Breakfast, another form of resilience, and thanks to our chaplains for continuing to take care of our women. So, Brittany, we had a question this week come in. Did you have that handy?
Yes, sir. We had one question come in. It is, do we anticipate an increase in opportunity for permanent party personnel to get the COVID vaccine in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so the signs are good that that's going to take place. We are right now in the DoD priority schema. We're at priority 1 Charlie, which is a lot of our mission essential personnel. And really it covers, honestly, the majority of our wing. They're going down through that. We think next week that will pick up again and we'll get through that. We're hopeful. And then we think in the next maybe 2-3 weeks, our dependents and will start receiving their vaccinations or opportunities to be vaccinated as well. We're starting to see the numbers ramp up in terms of production capabilities in the vaccines, so that's good. That's awesome, and we're hopeful that sometime in May we'll be able to start vaccinating all our trainees that come in here to basic military training as well, which has a big impact on people like Sergeant Olson, because those trainees, if they get vaccinated BMT, 8 weeks later, 9 weeks later, you're going to see them and have them vaccinated and make sure that you all are safe too. Right? So it's great. Any questions that have come in? I did want to mention that Air Force has come out with a new mission statement, and it's the Air Force's new mission statement is to fly, fight, and win air power anytime, anywhere. So that obviously is more air power centric, more air power focused than the previous one, which had airspace and cyberspace. Obviously, space has transitioned to our Space Force, and now the focus is on air power, and that makes sense because we are Air Force. Anyway, that wanted to mention that as well. So.
There's a few quick hits I'd like
Yeah,
to
go
mention
ahead.
to you. So some development opportunities for our formation here in the 37th Training Wing. In particular, Chief Blazer is still doing good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Still doing good stuff for our Warhawk Nation, but he's going to be joined by Chief Master Sergeant Eric Thompson, our Air Education Training Command MATCOM Command Chief, and putting on a series of, a session on leadership lens, right, from their experiences as senior leaders in our Air Force. So please be on the lookout for that. And actually, I think I have the date in front of me here somewhere. Maybe not. Yeah, we'll get it out to the formation. But one that's a little bit closer to home, so you can get the big picture from Chief Blazer and Chief Thompson. But one a little closer to home, actually, our 37 Training Wing Top 3 kicked it off this morning. A squadron superintendent course.
Awesome.
And talking about air power anywhere, anytime, I'll tell you what, as enlisted leaders, man, we really got to learn that. And our role in providing our commanders fit and ready workforces, right, for in-garrison and expeditionary missions. So our top 3, big shout out to Master Sergeant Ken Morgan, Master Sergeant Harrison, Master Sergeant Soto for putting this event on. They're doing it throughout the month, trying to take smaller chunks. So this morning they're focusing a couple of lessons and panels on managing resources, adequacy and stewardship, and manpower and funding and that kind of thing. Next week they're going to do leading people and kind of focus a little bit more on disciplinary as well as administrative processes. 16th to be focused on the 23rd to be focused on improving the unit, right? And CCIP, Commander's Inspection Program, how it's not just this mid-team thing, right?
It's not
It's
mid-team.
actually about readiness, right?
That's right.
Finding readiness for that squadron, right? And again, a superintendent's role in providing the commander fit in his workforce, right? We have to, as senior NCOs, know how to drive and inspire performance to that end. And then we wrap up with a couple lessons on executing the mission. And I'm saying you're going to be in there too, sir, talking about your experiences.
Yeah, great panel, great panel. Sincere apologies, I was originally slated to come over and meet with the senior NCOs and kick things off this morning. I was unable to do that because of some family commitments that I mentioned earlier. However, I love the fact that I'm going to be able on the 3rd of April to be able to participate in that panel. I'm looking forward to it.
I will say this too about how we're doing the course. It's hybrid, so it's kind of, there's some very, a small cohort can go in person if you touch point with not starting at Ken Morgan. But also, if you just want to zoom in, and if there's one particular Friday for everything I just mentioned that you're interested in, please reach out to Sergeant Morgan. Again, he can get you the Zoom info so you can do it at your convenience. So.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Chief, for bringing that up. Yeah, this one's all about leadership, right? And leadership at all levels. Along those lines, I wanted to mention a big thanks to some of our company grade officers who have now formally stood up our first in a while, at least, company grade officers council. Captain Noro, Captain Greaves, Captain Cobbins, all three big players from BMT that have stood up our CGOC now. So taking the opportunity to lead again. We have a vibrant top 3 and rising 6 here, but our CGOs somehow have fallen off the radar a little bit. So now we got opportunities for our CGOs to grow, just as our superintendents have the opportunity over the next 4 weeks to grow as well. Also wanted to mention the We Care campaign. We featured Lieutenant Colonel Ray Van and Jen Van last week. A reminder that that's on the 15th and 16th of April coming up. It'll both be out at the gates and then at the schools, the on-base schools again, just to mention that. So a lot of things going on. And then we have our final commander's call on the 22nd of April. I think I got that right. 22nd of April with basic military training. And we'll have that opportunity too. So anyway, a lot going on. Brittany, did we have any questions come in through the chat while we've been on?
No, so the only one we had come in was about BMT graduations, and there's been plenty of people helping them out and guiding them in the right direction of knowing when graduation's going on and where to watch and things like that.
Yeah, every Thursday, right now we have our combined coin and graduation ceremony. Starts at 0900 Central Standard Time. It's all live streamed right here on the Facebook. Full disclosure, we had a blip on the radar a couple weeks ago where the live stream had to come down, so we posted the video after the fact. But I think that's the first time that's happened, and it was all through some technical glitches. But we always intend on the live stream. We are starting to look as societal changes and vaccinations happen and COVID positivity rates go down. We're starting to look at the feasibility of starting to consider maybe some family members back. So those discussions are happening. But still, no firm dates or no firm timeline for that. The 3 partner wings that all participate in that decision, the 502nd Air Base Wing, the 59th Medical Wing, the 37th Training Wing, are all having conversations about what that looks like going forward. So hang in there, folks. We know that you're always tracking your trainees that become airmen, and you want to know when you'll be able to see them again. We know that's important to you, and we continue to try and work towards that. So at any rate, again, thanks Sergeant Olson, Chief Butcher. Thanks again, my friend. It was great traveling with you the last couple of days, but I think that's going to wrap up. We're still in debate whether it's episode 33 or 34.
It's 33. I
33,
checked.
all right. I tried to skip ahead. I'm wrong. That's the norm. But anyway, all right. Warhawks trained to win. We are out.